The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2, in conjunction with Colfax High School, presents Viking pregame. A look at today's Colfax Vikings boys game. And now, Viking pregame.
Good evening and welcome to the NLWN2 studios. Rick Olson here, and tonight the 9-7 Colfax Vikings, who are 4-5 in the Dun St. Croix Conference, will step out of conference play to take on the Somerset Spartans, who have an 11-9 record and are currently 4-7 in the Middle Border Conference. The Vikings are coming off a hard-fought 69-58 loss to the Dun St. Croix leading Durand, Arkansas Panthers last Tuesday night, while the Spartans are coming off a 75-57 win over Ellsworth last Friday. Now, coming up in this edition of Viking Pregame, we'll take a look at tonight's matchup between the Somerset Spartans and the Colfax Vikings. Then we'll get Coach Noel's perspective on tonight's game in Coach's Corner. Following that, Jay Fall and Dan Petchow will bring you all the play-by-play action of tonight's game. So it's time to get ready for some exciting high school boys basketball. All that coming up right after this brief timeout. You're tuned to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? Come on. Oh.
Welcome back to Viking Pregame, where we're getting ready to bring you all the action of tonight's game between Middle Border Conference Somerset Spartans, who are 11-9 overall and 4-7 in their conference play, against the Colfax Vikings, who are currently sitting at 4-5 in the Dun St. Croix Conference and 9-7 overall. The Vikings are trying to bounce back following their 69-58 defeat at the hands of the Durand, Arkansas Panthers nearly a week ago. In that game, the Vikings scrapped and actually outscored the Panthers in the second half, but it just wasn't enough to overcome the deficit caused by the superiority of the Panthers' height advantage in the first half. Now, in that game, the Vikings were able to have three players score in double figures. They were led in scoring by 5'9" junior Elijah Ensminger, who hit on 6 field goals and went 2 for 2 from the free throw line for 14 points. He was followed by 6'3" senior Nick Jensen, who hit 3 field goals, one of which he even stepped out and canned a three-pointer, and also shot 5 for 6 from the free throw line for 13 points. While 6'4" senior Jack Charlo hit 6 from the floor for 12 points. So far on the season, leading the way in scoring for the Vikings is Charlo, who's averaging nearly 17 points per game. He's followed by Ensminger, who's putting up almost 16, and Nick Jensen, who's chipping in over 8. Leading rebounders for the Vikings are Charlo, who's averaging around 10 per game, and Jensen, who's pulling down around 6. Now, the Spartans come into tonight's game in 5th place in the Middle Border Conference with a conference record of 4 wins and 7 losses, as well as 11-9 overall, following their 75-57 win over Ellsworth last Friday. The Spartans field a young but experienced team with 9 juniors and only 4 seniors. The Spartans are a scoring machine with 4 players who are averaging in double figures. Look for Somerset to be led in scoring by 6'4" junior guard Dylan Lecchia, who is shooting nearly 57% from the floor while averaging over 18 points per game. He's followed by 6'2" junior wing Cayman Gebheim, who adds nearly 12 points per game, while 5'11" junior guard Caden Krybeck and 6'2" sophomore guard Kane Donnelly each put in over 10 points per game. On the boards, the Spartans are led by Gebheim, who's pulling down nearly 7 boards per game, while Lecchia and Donnelly managed to grab 6 per game each. So far on the season, Somerset is scoring at a 68-point average while giving up 60 points per game. The Vikings are averaging around 55 points per game while allowing an average of 52. Coming up next, following this timeout, we'll get the coach's perspective as we chat with Viking head coach Mark Knoll on Coach's Corner. You're tuned to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2 are proud to announce that this spring they will be your viewing home for Eau Claire Cowboys football. Check out www.northernlightwebcastingnetwork.com for times and dates. That's Eau Claire Cowboy football on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
Time now to see what the coaches have to say. It's Coach's Corner, where they look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. And now, Coach's Corner.
Once again on Coach's Corner, we're talking Viking boys head coach Mark Knoll. And Coach, it's been almost a week since the last time we had a chance to talk, because the Vikings last played back on January 31st when they were defeated by the Durand, Arkansas Panthers 69-58. What can you recall about that game?
Well, I think, it was a really good game in the first half until about the 5-minute mark. And then they kind of pulled away from us to make it a 12-point deficit for us at halftime. But up to that point, I felt like it was kind of like a back and forth, a 2-point game. And they just, I give Durand credit. They just made a lot of big shots. And unfortunately, we did not continue to make our shots. And then they pulled away. And in the second half, up to be like a 19-point lead. But then I felt like, we kind of got things going after a little bit, and it was basically a 10 to 12-point game the rest of the way.
And basically it was a case of, it's a game of runs. It's just that Durand had the early run, and they were able to hang on and make that one stick. Yeah,
and that's exactly what happened. And we felt like we can play better. That's nothing to take it away from Durand and their defense and their offense. But we just felt like we did not play up to our capabilities that day.
In spite of that losing effort, the Viking offense was able to score above their season average. You had 3 players in double figures, and even Nick Jensen stepped out and nailed a 3-pointer. Your comments about the Vikings' offensive performance?
Yeah, we did do some good stuff. Our shooting percentage just wasn't very high. We shot like 37%. And I think a lot of times we're shooting probably 45 to almost 50%. So it was just down a little bit. Sometimes it'll be down if you're getting more shots. But it was nice to see, obviously have 3 players in double figures and to see Nick Jensen to start to show what he's capable of with his perimeter game as well as his inside game. And then it was the free throws. We shot, I think, 6 free throws and they shot 19. So that was kind of the difference in the game.
I was going to say, there's the ball game right there.
Yes.
So tonight, the Vikings will step out of the Dunn St. Croix Conference play to take on the Somerset Spartans out of the Middle Border Conference. What can you tell us about the Spartans?
Well, I think they're, obviously they're a much better team than what their record is. As of late, they've been winning and playing really well. I've watched a couple of their games, whether it be conference or non-conference games. I watched them versus Spring Valley, and they beat Spring Valley by 39. So that shows you the kind of team that they are. Very good team. They're very athletic. They have some good size. They start a 6'4" kid that's their best player that averages 18 points a game. And then they have a 6'2" kid inside as well that's just a strong, kind of a football-looking kid, averages 12 points a game. And then they got 3 nice guards on the perimeter. They got 2 of them that shoot a lot of threes. Krybeck has made 46 threes, and Waskall has made 33. So they're just not a super deep team. They do have a 6'7" kid that comes off the bench that's got some length to him. But other than that, if we can get it any deeper into their bench, that would help us a lot.
Now, from what I've been able to gather, the Spartans appear to be almost a scoring machine. They have 4 players averaging in double figures. Now, that usually means if you shut one or even two down, the others are going to step up and cause you problems. Defensively, what kind of adjustments are you going to have to make with the Spartans able to put the ball through the rim like they do?
Well, I think a big part of that, though, is that they're not playing very many people off their bench. So if we take it at them offensively ourselves and get them into foul trouble and make them play their bench, that will hold these guys down and not score as many points as they want to, because their bench kids, no disrespect, are averaging 1 point, 1.4, and like 3 points a game. So if we can get those guys to play and get any of their starters into foul trouble, that'll be huge for us.
Well, Coach Nola, it looks like we're in line for some pretty exciting basketball tonight. Hopefully the Vikings can do what they need to do to come back with a victory.
Thank you very much. Go Vikings.
You've been listening to Coach's Corner, with a look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Welcome back to Viking pregame. The Vikings are looking to show that they can find a way to win these games that they've been playing strong in. On the other hand, the Somerset Spartans would like to combine a strong defense with their already powerful offense and prepare themselves for a push for a deep run in the WIAA playoffs later on this month. The Spartans and the Vikings were scheduled to face off against each other last season. However, that game was canceled, so both teams are looking forward to this year's matchup. So, the stage is set for some exciting boys high school basketball, and we'll have all the action for you right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2. Now, in just a moment, we'll send it out to Somerset High School, where our broadcast crew is ready to bring you all the action of tonight's boys game between the Colfax Vikings and the Somerset Spartans. That's all coming up next. You've been tuned to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
Soon the weather will change and you'll be able to breathe in the clean fresh air of spring. And you know what comes right along with that. That's right, it will be time for Eau Claire Cavalier Baseball. Follow the Cavaliers all season long right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and NLWN TV. Be sure to check out our website at www.northernlightwebcastingnetwork.com for our current broadcast schedule. You've been tuned to Viking Pregame with a look at today's Colfax Viking boys game. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2. Stay tuned, coming up next is live Colfax Viking basketball. It happens to everyone eventually, your computer goes on the fritz. Fear not, Sladen's Technology Services can help. When your computer decides to not cooperate, it can be very frustrating. Let Sladen's Technology Services keep you from wanting to drive your computer right off a cliff. Sladen's Technology Services supports business of all sizes. They offer assistance with managed anti-malware, encrypted email, fast tech support, data backup, and recovery, and more. Call Sladen's Technology Services at 715-864-2833 and get the IT help you desire. Sladen's Technology Services is the official IT service for the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Colfax Viking basketball is on the air.
Vikings steal the pass. This is Charlo driving down the left side of the lane, puts it up. It goes in and he draws the hard.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2 proudly present today's Colfax Viking boys varsity basketball game.
Down to Jensen and on the right baseline, puts it up and in. This is what you were talking about a couple days ago, Dan. Jensen's got to put those shots up, and he's doing it.
Join us as we head out to the gym for today's Viking basketball.
Good evening and welcome to Somerset, where the Colfax Viking boys are set to play another Middle Border Conference crossover game on the road here at Somerset. I'm Jay Paul, here along with Dan Petchow, Chris Olson, the videographer tonight. Tonight's Colfax High School basketball game is brought to you by the Colfax Animal Hospital. Let Dr. Buckley and his friendly staff take care of your pet. Derry State Bank, where they're banking on relationships. Midwest Environmental Consultants, soil testers for the Chippewa Valley. Anderson Bridges, who have been manufacturing prefabricated steel truss bridges since 1989. Slayton's Technology, IT provider for the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax. Comfort food, the way Mom used to make it. And Fit Fam Nutrition of Colfax, with drinks that taste as good as their names sound, plus they're healthy. Be sure to thank these fine sponsors for bringing you Colfax Viking boys basketball here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
If you have a high-deductible health plan, opening a health savings account at Derry State Bank will allow you to save tax-free dollars to pay for a long list of health-related services allowed by the IRS. Derry State Bank HSAs are serviced locally and work like a regular checking account. You can use a debit card or check to pay for expenses and access your account through online or mobile banking. Visit DerryStateBank.com to learn more about HSAs and online or mobile banking. Derry State Bank, banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
Join us at the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV for exciting Colfax High School girls basketball. Our next game will be on Tuesday, February 7th, when the Vikings will host the Elk Mound Mounders. Live coverage on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and on NLWN TV begins with Viking pregame at 6:50 p.m. That's live Colfax Viking girls basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV on Tuesday, February 7th.
Are your animals feeling a little under the weather? Give the nice folks at Colfax Animal Hospital a call. Bruce Buckley is just what the doctor ordered. In fact, he is the doctor, and he's ready to help. That's the Colfax Animal Hospital. Give them a call at 715-962-3380.
Well, taking a look at the records, we have two varsity teams that are fairly evenly matched. Both the Colfax Vikings and the Somerset Spartans are fifth in their respective conferences. Somerset has played a few more games than Colfax has. The Vikings are 4-5 in the Dun St. Croix, and in fifth place they are 9-7 on the season, while Somerset is 4-7 in the Middle Border, while they are 11-9 on the season overall. Those teams look fairly evenly matched. We will tell you, unfortunately, it was a very rough night for the Colfax JV team. They fell to Somerset 60-30 in a game that got done just a few moments ago. Well, let's take a look at team scoring between the two teams. Colfax has outscored their opponents by a margin of 880 to 830, while Somerset has outscored their opponents 1364 to 1207. As far as shooting percentage, Colfax is shooting 48% from the floor. Colfax shooting about 42% from the floor, while allowing their opponents shooting a 39% from the floor, 38.5 for Colfax, so pretty evenly matched there. As far as rebounds go, Somerset has out-rebounded their opponents an average of 35 to 28 rebounds a game. Colfax has out-rebounded their opponents 26 to 24. Taking a look at some of the individual leaders for both schools. But before we do that, we'll also let you know what some of the other Dun St. Croix teams that are playing tonight are doing. Along with this crossover game, Elk Mound is hosting St. Croix Central, formerly of the Dun St. Croix Conference. That game tipping off in Elk Mound, and Plum City Elmwood is hosting Cochrane Fountain City tonight in Elmwood. Scoring leader for the Colfax Vikings, Jack Charlo, with a record, or with an average of 16.8 points a game. Following right behind him, a point behind, is Elijah Ensminger at 15.8. Nick Jensen has 8.3 points a game. Charlo's also the leading rebounder at 9.9 rebounds a game, with Nick Jensen behind him at 6.2 rebounds a game. Dylan Leckia is Somerset's leading scorer, averaging about 18 points a game. Then behind him is Kamen Gebheim with nearly 12 points a game. Caden Krybik is at 10.4 points a game, and Kane Donnelly is at 10.1 points a game. Rebounding, pretty strong for the top three too. Gebheim at 6.8 rebounds a game, and Dylan Leckia 6 rebounds a game. Kane Donnelly at 5.6 rebounds a game. So that's look at some numbers here before we tip off. Both teams coming back to their benches, and we will have the national anthem and introduction of starting lineups here. Somerset comes into this game after a 75-57 win Friday night here in Somerset over Ellsworth. The Vikings have been practicing since last week, Tuesday, when they fell short to Durand, Arkansas by a score of 69-58. So we welcome you to Somerset. I'm Jay Fall here with Chris Olson on the camera, as well as Dan's with me on courtside. Let's take it down to the center court.
The Colfax Vikings and your Somerset Spartans. Now, at this time, will you please stand and you are able, remove your hats for the singing of our national anthem by Somerset senior student athlete Mia Olson.
The
Fisher. Senior, number 12, Jack Charlo. Junior, number 23, Blake Johnson. And senior, number 42, Nicholas Jensen. The Vikings are coached by Mark Gold. He's assisted by Tristan Nielsen and Rick Kiley. And now we're starting lineup for your Somerset Spartans. From Minnesota, 6'4", junior guard, number 2, Dylan Lusha. From Stillwater, Minnesota, 5'11", junior guard, number 3, from Osceola, a 6-foot senior guard, number 10, Thomas Wasco. From St. Paul, Minnesota, 6'3" sophomore guard, number 13, Kane Dudley. And from a 6'2" junior forward, number 34, Kingman Gethai. The Spartans are coached by Troy Wilson. He's assisted by Corey Patrick, Josh White, Jonathan Blunt, and Jerry Lusha. Managers are Grace Stevenson, William Ellison,
So tonight's game set to begin here. Spartans are wearing home white, trimmed in a variety of colors, mainly looks like black and red. Colfax in road red, trimmed in white. They are going to move from right to left as we look on, and the tip is controlled by the Spartans, saving it from going out of bounds as Donnelly. It eventually ends up to Waskell at the free throw line extended right. He gets it back from Krybek. Down underneath, going up for the shot, putting it in, Cayman Gebheim. He is a 6'2" junior. Donnelly's a 6'2" sophomore. Waskell 6' senior. Krybek 5'11" junior. Dylan Leschia is a 6'4" junior. So the Vikings unfortunately turn out back over to the Spartans, and we will see them back on offense. And that is Krybek bringing it up. Back over to Leschia, now down into Gebheim again. Gebheim tangled up. He manages to get out of there and still make the basket. 4-0 Somerset, coming up on 17 minutes left to go in the first half as Johnson gets the pass. He tries to get it into Ensminger. It's stolen away by Gebheim. Gebheim now has it stolen back from Ensminger, and he'll bring it up the floor for the Vikings. Ensminger top of the key to the free throw line, back over to Blake Johnson. Johnson give and go to Ensminger. Ensminger trying to drive the right side of the lane and go up against Donnelly. He'll pass it out to Blake Johnson. He'll take the shot for 3. Vikings bring it closer. It's 4-3 Somerset. 16.5 minutes to go in the first half. Waskell with the ball. Waskell over to Donnelly. Donnelly at the top of the key, dribbles it, gives it over to Gebheim. Gebheim going to wait at the corner of the lane, give it back to Krybek. Krybek around the screen, pops it up from 11, hits the rim, gets his own rebound, goes up off the glass, it doesn't go. Tipped by Jensen into the hands of Charlo for the Vikings. Up the floor, it's to Irwin. Irwin bounces it to Charlo, back outside to Johnson. Top of the key to Jensen, back in the corner. Charlo, three-pointer bounces off big, rebounded by Gebheim. Spartans quickly up the floor. He'll go to Donnelly. He'll miss, or Waskell. He'll take a layup shot and miss it. And it's rebounded by Irwin. Irwin driving the right side, dumps it back to Jensen. Jensen up, misses the shot, bounces out. Leschia comes up with it, and then down the floor to Donnelly for the Spartans, and he'll put it in with a layup on the left side. It's Somerset 6, Colfax 3, 15 and a half minutes remaining in the first half. And in the backcourt, it's Kyle Irwin. Irwin, baseball pass underneath to Charlo, has trouble handling it. He was on the end line going back to Somerset. 6-3 Somerset. Jay Fall, Dan Petchow, and Chris Olson, videographer, with you tonight from Somerset. Krybeck, give and go to Lesha. Down underneath, layup by Kane Donnelly. 8-3 Somerset. Approaching 15 minutes left in the first half. Blake Johnson. Johnson out to Charlo. And coming up with the ball is Donnelly. Donnelly falls on the floor, manages to get a pass over to teammate Caden Krybeck. Krybeck puts in a layup, and timeout on the floor called by Colfax. 14:52 remaining. First half, Somerset 10, Colfax 3. You're watching Colfax Viking boys basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
Join us on NLWN2 for exciting Colfax High School boys basketball.
This is what we came here for.
Our next game will be on Tuesday, February 9th, when the Vikings play host to the Spring Valley Cardinals. Live coverage on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and on NLWN2 begins with Viking pregame at 6:50 p.m. That's live Colfax Viking boys basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2 on Tuesday, February 9th.
Colfax can run the baseline. They hand the ball to Blake Johnson. Johnson gets it into Elijah Ensminger. And dribble it out of the backcourt. Dribbles around a screen set by Jensen over to Kyle Irwin. Irwin cross court to Johnson. Pass is stolen away by Wasco. Or knocked away anyway. Colfax is going to still maintain control of it. Blake Johnson into Kyle Irwin. Irwin to Jensen. Back to Johnson, corner of the lane, bounces off big, rebounded by Krybeck. Krybeck zings it up the floor to Donnelly, back in the far corner to Waskill. He'll swish it in from the corner. Colfax trails by 10 at Somerset 13, Colfax 3, as Jack Charlo dribbles through to Elijah Ensminger, gets a pass, then back out to Irwin. Irwin stops, turns, looks, dishes it off to Johnson. Johnson goes up and has it stolen right out of his hands by Kane Donnelly. Donnelly up the floor to Krybeck. Krybeck with a layup on the right side. 15-3 Somerset. Inbounds to Wasco. Wasco, or Johnson, sorry. Johnson out to Charlo. Charlo driving toward the hoop, and it's going to be a blocking foul called on the Somerset Spartans, Thomas Waskill. That is the first foul of the half for anybody. So to throw it inbounds, Irwin, or check that, that's Medine. Medine into Johnson. Johnson around the rainbow, he'll take it to near half court. Flings a pass out to Aiden Fisher, give and go out to Medine. Medine back to Fisher, halfway out on the far side. Somerset a tough man-to-man. Fisher, free throw line right. Back to Johnson, he'll take it from the sideline, bounces off big. Ball's tapped, Johnson tries to get that rebound, but Waskill steps in front of him and gets it. Waskill for three, bounces around, tip back to Somerset's Krybeck. Krybeck down on the floor to Gebheim, top of the key, outside, near corner, it goes to Gebheim. Krybeck, Somerset keeping it out. They try to get it inside to Gebheim, and we will have that will go off of Gebheim out of bounds, so Colfax will get it back. 12:50 left, first half. 15-3, Somerset leading Colfax. Into Medine. Medine out to Johnson. Johnson to Charlo. Medine is tangled up with Waskill, and it is, let's see, the possession arrow, Colfax. Inbounds throw goes into Medine. Medine, give and go. Medine out to Fisher. Fisher drives, tries to put it up, knocked down, and Charlo will try to put up. He'll draw a foul on the way up. That is going to be charged to Jordan Walters. That's Jordan Walters' first, and the second for Somerset. Jack Charlo is on the free throw line for the Vikings. First one up, rolls all around and down. Thomas Waskell will come out, and Jamison Wink goes in for him. Charlo's second free throw, good. 15-5, Somerset leading Colfax, 12:20 to go in the first. Kane Donnelly, top of the key. Donnelly trying to get it into Gebheim. He gets it back, puts it up from the lane, shot falls short, rebounded by Charlo. Charlo gets it over to Fisher. Fisher up the floor, down to Johnson, halfway down on the far side. Johnson dribbles toward the free throw line, fires it back to Fisher on the far side. Coming out to get it is Hoffman for the Vikings. He'll dish it off to Johnson. Johnson takes one, top of the key. Hits the rim, falls short, rebounded by Wink, then to Krybeck. Krybeck down underneath on the left side to Donnelly. Donnelly fall away from 7. No good, rebounded by Colton Hoffman. Baseball pass up the floor to Jack Charlo from Johnson. Charlo back to Johnson. Johnson dishes it down to the near corner to Medine. Medine looks at one from the free throw line. He'll go to Hoffman, back over on the far side to Charlo, who zigged when Hoffman thought he was going to zag, and that went out of bounds. 11:18 remaining first half. Somerset 15, Colfax 5. Caden Krybeck across the timeline for Somerset, back to Lesia. Lesia on the far side to Krybeck, fires it down underneath to Walters. Walters goes up, and it looks like that foul is going to be charged to Colton Hoffman. We'll wait till it comes over to the table. Yep, Colton Hoffman charged with that foul. That is his first, and the first for the Vikings. On the free throw line, Jordan Walters, 6'7" senior for Somerset. So they have some size and some experience. Nick Jensen comes back in now. Blake Johnson and Jack Charlo going to take a break. And the second free throw, no good, but it's put right back up and in by Gebheim. 18-5, Spartans. Up to Fisher. Fisher alley-oop pass to Ensminger. Ensminger being harassed, gives it back to Jensen. Jensen from the corner, puts it in. 18-7 Somerset, 10:38 to go in the first half. Out to Wink. Wink down to Lesia. Lesia in the lane's got to do something with it. He'll throw it back outside to Gebheim. Gebheim runs into a double team, again gets it over to teammate Dylan Lesia, who'll put it up and in right out in front. 20-7 Somerset. Lesia tries to get it out to Hoffman, and that rolls out, and driving in is Kamen Gebheim. Will make the basket, and Colton Hoffman will end up on the floor, and a foul. So that's going to put Kamen Gebheim on the line for one free throw. Coming into the game now, Kane Donnelly coming in for Caden Krybeck. And coming in for Colfax, Kyle Irwin for Mitch Medine. 10:04 remaining first half. Somerset 22, Colfax 7. First shot missed, rebounded by Aiden Fisher. Fisher will bring it up the floor for Colfax. Fisher Tosses it back to Irwin. Irwin on the right side to Jensen. Back up to Ensminger. He'll look at one from three-point land. Pop it up from 10. Puts it in for 2. Spartans quickly up the floor. Goes to Lesia in the near corner. Back out in the middle to Walters. Walters top of the key. Back to Lesia. Down underneath. It goes to Wink. Wink from the baseline. Puts in a layup right side. Somerset 24. Colfax 9. In the backcourt, it's Kyle Irwin. Irwin goes to Fisher. Fisher to Jensen. Jensen is pushed as he's driving in. So the ball's going to go to Colfax underneath the basket because he was not shooting. That's the second foul on Jordan Walters.
Team's third, checking in for the Spartans. Number 30, Gabe Allen.
Gabe Allen now in for Cayman Gebheim for Somerset. Inbounds pass into Charlo. He tries to put it up, and on the second effort, draws a foul from one of the Spartans. And that is going to go on Gabe Allen. Just gets in, fouls right off the bat. Charlo's going to shoot a pair for the Vikings. First one rolls off the right side, no good. Somerset 24, Colfax 9. Somerset JVers won tonight 60-30. Second one bounces out as well. Wasco comes up with the rebound for the Spartans out to Donnelly, or Grover, sorry. That's Lesia. Down on the right side, Wasco in for a layup along the line, or the lane. 26-9, Somerset leading Colfax. Under 9 minutes left in the first half. And Charlo goes up with a shot, and that's blocked big time. Wasco will come up with it. Over to Donnelly. Back to Wasco. Wasco sees a wide open Gabe Allen under the basket. And Colfax wants a timeout. 8:43 to go, first half. Somerset 28, Colfax 9. You're watching Colfax Vikings boys basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2.
When you have that craving for a home-cooked meal the way Mom used to make it, rest assured, you can still get that meal by going to Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax. Mom's is open daily, serving breakfast and lunch, and don't forget dinner on Friday nights with Mom's famous fish fry. The coffee is always hot, the breakfast is always delicious, and lunch will put a smile on your face and in your stomach. 225 Bremer Avenue, Colfax. Call 715-962-4617. That's Mom's Restaurant and Pub.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2 are proud to announce that this spring they will be your viewing home for Eau Claire Cowboys football. Check out www.northernlightwebcastingnetwork.com for times and dates. That's Eau Claire Cowboy football on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
Back to Somerset, Colfax trailing Somerset 28-9. Mason Yarrington now in the game for the Vikings. He throws it into Kyle Irwin. Yarrington gets it back. They'll try to break a press to Jensen. And Jensen, when he caught that pass, straddled the half-court line. Over and back violation will send it back to the Spartans to throw it in. Waskell, Donnelly. Back to Waskell, Donnelly up on the left wing. Give and go out to Lesia. Lesia is going to drive in against everybody and put in a layup. 30-9 Somerset. Yarrington into Ensminger. Ensminger to Jensen. To Yarrington, across the timeline to Ensminger, down to Charlo. Charlo with a pass, too hot for him to handle, and it goes out of bounds. Kane Donnelly's going to toss it in for Somerset. Nope, check that. Gabe Allen comes to take his place. He's going to throw it into Caden Krybick to get things going here. We're approaching 8 minutes left in the first half. Somerset ahead by 21. Out to Gabe Allen. And then a three-pointer by Lesia fails, and the ball goes into the hands of Kyle Irwin. He'll try to get it to Blake Johnson, and there to steal it back is Thomas Waskell. Waskell out to Lesia, tries to get it into Krybek. Ball goes out of bounds off the Vikings. Somerset will keep it. Inbounds throw goes into Lesia, loses it. Jensen up the floor, one on two, gets it out to Mitch Medine. Medine out to Ensminger. Ensminger into Jensen. Jensen waits, goes up, and he is pushed as he is attempting to shoot. And that is going to go against Gabe Allen of the Spartans. So Jensen looks skyward, sends it up, falls short off the front iron. Kamen Gebheim is checking back in for the Spartans to spell Gabe Allen. Jensen sends the second one up, that one goes in. Somerset quickly up the floor to Lesia. Lesia out to Krybek. Out to Donnelly. Up on top to Krybek. Krybek to Gebheim. Gebheim puts it up. Three-pointer in and out. No good. Rebounded by Ensminger. Ensminger drives the left side. Fall-away jumper from 10. Good! 30-12 Somerset. 7 minutes left. First half. Up the floor it goes to Lesia. Lesia, shot missed, reload, back up and in by Gebheim. 32-12, Colfax trails Somerset. Ensminger out to Johnson, and a ball stolen by Lesia. Lesia to Krybek, down underneath, left wide open on the fast break is Kane Donnelly. Blake Johnson up to Jensen. Jensen's going to turn around, dribble into a double screen, and then Ensminger will put it up from three, miss, but Charlo there with the rebound, he puts it up and in. Colfax keeps it to within 20. It's 34-14 Somerset. Down inside it goes to Gebheim, and then outside to Krybek. Three-pointer missed. It's rebounded by Irwin. Or check that, Medine. Medine across the timeline. Goes to Johnson. Johnson out in the near corner to Charlo. Charlo three-pointer goes over the top, right into the hands of Waskell for Spartans. Out to Krybek, back to Waskell. Waskell out to Gebheim, back over to Waskell. Waskell to Donnelly. Donnelly goes up from the lane, puts it in, and draws a foul. That foul is going to be charged to Blake Johnson. That is his first and Colfax's third foul of the first half. 5:33 remaining first half. It's Somerset 36, Colfax 14. We invite you to stay tuned for Viking halftime. Second free throw missed. Ensminger comes up the floor with it. Ensminger tangled up, gets it back, gets it over to Charlo, and they're tipping it up like a volleyball game. Back out to Blake Johnson. Johnson out to Ensminger from the corner for three. Bounces off right into the hands of Somerset's Gebheim. Gebheim to Donnelly. Donnelly back out in the corner to Waskell. Waskell to Gebheim. Then Lesia, stolen away by Johnson. Johnson one-on-one going to the hoop, goes up. Gets a bump on the way in.
Yeah, good job by Blake Johnson there to draw the contact.
And the Vikings want a full timeout. Exactly 5 minutes to go first half. Somerset 36, Colfax 14. You're watching Colfax Viking boys basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2.
To get your lawn or garden to perform like you want, you first need to know about your soil. That's where Midwest Environmental Consultants can help. Their soil testing service can give you a complete rundown on your soil's nutrition and health. They test for nitrogen levels, phosphorus, potash, micronutrients, minerals, pH, and organic matter. Let Midwest Environmental Consultants put you in control of your soil's health. Call Midwest Environmental Consultants at 608-468-2067. That's Midwest Environmental Consultants, soil testers for the Chippewa Valley.
Anderson Bridges, located in Colfax, Wisconsin, has been manufacturing prefabricated steel truss bridges since 1989. With hundreds of bridges supplied nationwide, we suspect you've crossed our path. It may have been on a pedestrian or bicycle bridge, or how about a snowmobile, ATV, or golf course bridge? Anderson Bridges is likely to have manufactured it. Founded in 1989, Anderson Bridges has been a family-owned company since its beginning and are proud to support the Colfax Vikings.
Welcome back to Somerset. On the free throw line for the Vikings, Blake Johnson. Somerset 36, Colfax 14, 5 minutes to go, first half. First free throw, nothing but net. And the second one for Johnson, that one good as well. Spartans face pressure from the Vikings in the backcourt. Gebheim. Gebheim fires across the line to Krybik. Krybik in the far corner, back outside to Donnelly. Dumps it down underneath to Gebheim. Across the court to Donnelly. Donnelly back to Gebheim, and stepping in there is Charlo to steal it away. Charlo rolls it off. Jensen gets to dribble it again down to Ensminger in the near corner. Ensminger around the rainbow, give and go to Charlo. Charlo loses the dribble, but Fisher there to pick it up. They'll start it again, back to Ensminger. Out to Johnson. Back into Fisher, and it's stolen away by Kane Donnelly of the Spartans. Up the floor it goes to Grover. Back out to Caden Krybik. Jamison Wink, free throw line left. Back farther down in the corner to Donnelly. He'll dribble it out over to Krybik. Pass fired inside, Kane Donnelly, who puts it off the glass and in. 38-16 Somerset. 3:45 left to go in the first half. Ensminger down to Fisher. Fisher for three, miss, rebounded by Jensen. Back out on top, looking for one. Ensminger from the top of the key. That one bounces out, and it's pulled out of there by Krybik. Krybik up the floor to Donnelly. Donnelly misses the layup, and it's rebounded by Jensen. Jensen up the floor to Charlo. Charlo, one-handed pass to Ensminger, out in the corner to Johnson. Johnson for three, rolls off the back iron, rebounded by Grover of Somerset. Toss to Krybik, up the floor to Gebheim. Gebheim stopped by Jensen, up on top to Donnelly. Over on the right side, Grover. Grover to Wink. And they dish it off in the lane. Going up with it is Kane Donnelly. He puts in the basket, and he is going to be fouled on the way up by 12, Jack Charlo. That is Charlo's first foul. That is the fourth team foul for Colfax. Somerset has 6 team fouls. 2:56 remains in the first half. Somerset 40, Colfax 16. And it'll be a one free throw made by Kane Donnelly. Donnelly that goes into Irwin now for Colfax. Irwin out to Charlo. Down inside to Jensen, knocked away by Grover. Donnelly down underneath to Jensen, to Jamison Wink. That rolls off, no good, rebounded by Charlo. Charlo to Johnson. Johnson, one-handed pass out to Medine. He'll dribble it once, back to Johnson from the free throw line, puts it up, rolls out, rebounded by Charlo, almost jump ball, and it'll be possession Somerset. Krybik across the timeline. Off on the right side goes to Waskell. Waskell in the middle, back to Krybick from the far corner. Drains it for three. 44-16, Somerset. 2 minutes left in the half. And Johnson tries to get it into Charlo, and it's tipped out of bounds by Grover. Irwin's going to toss it in for the Vikings. Vikings into Johnson. Johnson will bring it back out near the jump circle, take it down on the far wing. Ball is lost, and they're going to say that Medine touched it last. Spartans will bring it back up the floor. Jamison Wink's going to throw it in to Caden Krybick. Krybick, nice and easy across the 10-second line. Then up on the right wing, dishes it back in the middle to Waskell. Waskell to Allen, back up to Wink. From the free throw line extended, Waskell shot is missed, goes out of bounds, and the ball is tipped right back to Jack Charlo. Johnson manages to get to it. Up to Kyle Irwin, back to Johnson for three. Hits the front iron, no good. Ball tipped around into the hands of Krybick of the Spartans. Krybick down the floor to Allen. Allen back to Krybick. Coming up on 1 minute remaining in the first half. Over to Aiden Grover. Grover, free throw line left, back up to Krybick. Down inside to Grover, back outside to Allen. Allen flags out to Waskell. Up to Grover. Grover looking inside. He'll go in the corner to Waskell. Ball is loose, goes out of bounds, going to Somerset. 45 seconds remain in the first half. Somerset 44, Colfax 16. Eau Claire is a new semi-pro football team. The Eau Claire Cowboys and NLWN 2, along with the Northern Light Webcasting Network, are excited to be your broadcast home. Follow the Eau Claire Cowboys throughout the 2023 season on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2. Into Walters, he'll give it right back to Donnelly. Donnelly then to Lesha, and then Allen takes it. He'll go up from 8, around the rim, and down. 46-16 Somerset. Hensminger up high on the right side. Charlo gives it back to Hensminger. Hensminger not sure what to do with it. He'll go to Irwin, or Jensen. Jensen for three. Skies one, bounces off big. There's 13 seconds left. 13. Donnelly for Somerset gets it. Managed to get a pass to Lecchia and try to save it from going out of bounds. Hensminger, they left Walters open, and he'll put in the layup as the first half comes to an end. Somerset 48, Colfax 16. We invite you now to stay tuned for Viking halftime. You're watching Colfax Viking boys basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2.
Feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org.
Time now for Viking Halftime, with today's Viking profile and other halftime entertainment. That's coming up right after this.
Time now for Viking Profile, where we take a closer look at one of the Colfax Viking players. And now, Viking Profile.
Today on Viking Profile, we're going to get to know Jack Charlo, and Jack is a senior here at Colfax High School. And Jack, we know that you play basketball, but what are some other things here at school that you're involved in?
I'm going to be doing baseball this year, and that's it, I guess.
Do you know what you're going to be doing in baseball?
My goal position?
Yeah.
No clue. Probably try to get first base.
Here's the real question. Can you hit a curveball?
No.
Okay, at least you're honest about it. All right. So when did you start playing basketball, and what kind of an experience has it been for you?
I started playing in 3rd grade, I think. It's just been an amazing experience, building friendships. I don't know, just learning a lot of stuff.
So what's the most important thing that you've learned playing basketball?
Learning how to respect others.
Okay, and that's whether they're on your team, whether they're your coaches or your opponents?
Yes.
Okay. So when you're not playing basketball or you're not here at school, what are some other things that keep you occupied and busy?
Watching movies, hanging out with friends, and playing video games.
Sounds like a real relaxing and enjoyable time. Okay, rapid fire questions for you though. Pie, ice cream, cake, or cookies?
Cookies.
Flavor?
Probably just chocolate chip.
Hey, that's a good old standby, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right. Your favorite color and why?
Blue. Just a nice color.
Just a nice color. You know, that's as good a reason as anybody needs. Yeah. Just a nice color. Now, Jack, if you could have a superpower, what do you think that might be?
Probably being invisible.
Invisibility. Now, if you have that ability to be invisible, you have to have a superhero name to go with that. So what's Jack Charlo's superhero name?
John Cena.
John Cena. Something tells me that's been taken, but we'll let you get away with it. Do you have a favorite NBA team?
Probably the Bucks.
How about a collegiate team?
Probably the Badgers or Stout.
Badgers or Stout. Okay, either one. Is there a basketball player at any level of the game in your past that's kind of affected the way you play your game?
Probably just my brother.
Okay, you want to tell us why?
He's just been, I don't know, I play basketball with him a lot when he's at home. Just train with him a lot, I don't know.
He makes you bring your game, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're talking with Jack Charlo today on Viking Profile. And Jack, what are your plans for after high school?
I'm not sure yet, but I'll probably either go to a 4-year or go work somewhere.
Okay. And how about a shout out to the family?
Shout out to you guys.
Okay. And so when people come to watch Viking games, what number do you wear and where are they going to find you on the floor?
I wear number 12 and anywhere from the 3 spot to the 5 spot.
Yeah, probably somewhere near the hole to be grabbing rebounds or putting back up bunnies.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works. All right, we want to thank Jack Charlo for joining us today on Viking Profile. Coming up next is more Viking Halftime.
You've been listening to Viking Profile. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
If you're buzzed and doing this, to make yourself feel okay to drive,
ZWX.
You're not okay to drive.
YGKLVW. Regular.
Let's go see your room.
That's not right. How was it? Is it good?
You've been tuned to Viking Halftime. Stay tuned. Coming up is second half action of today's game on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
The family's visit to the forest inspired a beautiful question. Mother, mother, am I a tree? You tell me to stand tall. You tell me to stay rooted. I think I am a tree. My child, of course you are. But what kind of tree will you be? The kind to hug or the kind to climb? Doesn't matter what you choose, so long as you choose to be a tree that's kind.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to Somerset, our halftime score. Somerset leads the Colfax Vikings by a score of 48-16. Dan, how did we get there?
Yeah, here we go. We got a lot of boys with points for Somerset. Their leading scorer is Kay Donnelly. He's got 13. Gaben has 10. We have Caden Krivik with 7. We have Jordan Waters with 3. Gabe Allen with 4. Dylan Ligia with 4. Thomas Waskell with 5. And Jordan Waters with 3. And Jamison Wink with 2. For the Colfax Vikings, their leading scorer right now is Blake Johnson and Ensminger. They both have 5, followed by Charlotte with 4, and Nick Jensen with 3. So we got 48-16.
So coming up this week, the next one for the Vikings boys is going to be on Thursday night. It'll be here on NLWN2 as the Vikings will host the Spring Valley Cardinals. We'll have the girls on NLWN TV and the Northern Light Webcasting Network tomorrow night. The Lady Vikings host Elk Mound. Both of those begin with Viking pregame at 6:50, followed by the play-by-play action. So that's the girls tomorrow night hosting Elk Mound on NLWN TV. And join us for the boys Thursday night on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2. Jay Fall, Dan Petchow, and Chris Olson with you from Somerset. And to start off the second half, going to share the play-by-play with my colleague Dan Petchow while I try to hang on from this cold that has gotten me big time tonight. So, ready for the second half? Here's Dan.
Colfax with the ball. Irwin with the ball. Irwin swing on the left-hand side. Out to Nick Jensen. Nick Jensen over right side to Johnson. Up for 3. No good. Picked up by Charlo. Dan Sminger over to Irwin. Irwin caught in the corner there. Looks for Ensminger. Back to Irwin on the left-hand side. Into Jensen. Into Charlo on the baseline. And up for 2. 48-18, Colfax. Dylan Leach with the ball. Top of the key, right side and inside to 34 Cayman Gibbon. Left side to Caden Krivik. Top of the key to Krivik. Left side down to Dylan Lichia. Gets caught there by Charlo. Out to Cayman Gaben. Back to Dylan Lichia on the left-hand side. Down inside to Cayman. Up and good. 50-18, Somerset. 16:43 left in the second half. Irwin with the ball. Into Charlo, top of the key. Goes baseline. Pass to Jensen, and it's good for 2. Nick Jensen with 8 points. Left-hand side to Westcall. Inside to 34, Gaben, and then up and good. Cayman's got 14 points. Left side to Johnson. Keeps it over there with Irwin. Inside to Charlo. Charlo up. And we got a charge on Charlo.
Charlo, that's his second. Team first.
52-20 Somerset. Somerset to throw in the ball. Across center court to Licia. Stolen by Ensminger. Picked up by Charlo. Up and good. Jack Charlo with 8 points. Quickly down to the court comes Somerset. Top of the key to Westcall. Left side to Donnelly. Top of the key to Gaben. Jump shot by Westcall, no good. Here comes Ensminger. Quickly down the court. Stops, puts it up. And no good. Fast-paced game tonight. Quickly down the court again comes Somerset. And knocked out of bounds by Ensminger. Coming in for the Somerset Spartans is number 53, Jordan Walters. 52-22 Somerset, 15-23 left in the second half. Into Gaben. Right side to Walters. Nick Jensen on him. Top of the key to Krybeck. Left side to Gaben. Picked off by Colfax. Quickly up comes Ensminger. And it's no good. Might have been tipped. Here comes Somerset. Quick pass goes right through Gabenheim Sands. Colfax ball. And we got a timeout. Full timeout here at Somerset High School. You're watching Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2.
On those days when you're hankering for something that's delicious and nutritious, simply stop by FitFam Nutrition in Colfax. They serve Herbalife meal replacement shakes, metabolism-boosting teas and protein coffees. They taste as good as they sound, and they're healthy. Come and visit the Bentons and let them prepare for you a simply sweet treat, or something for the chocoholic or coffee lover in you. FitFem is a slam dunk. That's FitFem Nutrition, complete with one-on-one wellness coaching and business opportunities. 1020 University Avenue in Colfax.
Join us at the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV for exciting Colfax High School girls basketball. Our next game will be on Tuesday, February 7th, when the Vikings will host the Elk Mound Mounders. Live coverage on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and on NLWN TV begins with Viking pregame at 6:50 p.m. That's live Colfax Viking girls basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV on Tuesday, February 7th.
Welcome back to Somerset. Colfax Vikings bring the ball up. It's Irwin. Dribbles to the top of the key. Drives the left side of the lane. Not going to go up, and that big guy gets it back to Charlo. Charlo drains a three-pointer. Somerset now up the floor. It's Donnelly. Donnelly on the right side fires it out to Gebheim. Gebheim stops, caught in the lane, goes back out to Krybeck. Krybeck's going to look at one drive the left side of the lane. Right with him is Ensminger. Ball gets loose, gets to the hands of Gebheim. Gebheim back out to Donnelly. Wasco back out to Gebheim. In the corner to Jordan Walters. Ball gets loose and it's picked off by Jensen. Jensen up the floor to Irwin for the Vikings. Irwin gets it back from Johnson. Irwin goes in, turnaround jumper from 13, hits it! 52-27.
Kyle Irwin with his first 2 points.
Back out in the middle it goes to Gebheim. Back over in the far corner to Krybeck. Kryvik into Waskell. He's going to look to go up and then pass it out to Donnelly. Inbounds, it goes to the big man, 5'3", Jordan Walters, who is 6'7", actually. 5'3" is his number. And on his attempts to go up, he is fouled. That is going to be charged to Kyle Irwin of the Vikings. 2 fouls in the second half, and they're both on Colfax. Jordan Walters, 6'7" senior. First shot, short. The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV are excited once again to be your home for the Eau Claire Cavaliers baseball team. Follow the Cavs throughout the 2023 season on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. Second one, that one goes. Somerset 53, Colfax 27, 13 and a half minutes to go. Second half. Irwin up the floor, gets a bounce pass over to Jensen. He loses the ball. It gets to Aiden Grover. Grover quickly up the floor to Waskell. And another fast break by the Spartans is successful. 55-27, Somerset. Down underneath to Jensen. His shot rolls off, rebounded by Gebheim. Gebheim will give it to Waskell. Out to Donnelly. Donnelly goes up over 2 Vikings, puts it off the glass and in. Eli Ralph getting ready to check into the game for the Vikings. Blake Johnson across the timeline. Donnelly pokes at the ball and takes it to the house. 59-27, Somerset leading Colfax. Coming up on 12:45 left, first half, or second half, sorry. Irwin moves off to the left, free throw line extended. He'll give it to Ensminger. Ensminger from three-point land, around and down. Elijah Ensminger. 59-30. Somerset with a big lead. Waskell out to Donnelly. Donnelly into Kamen Gebheim. Gebheim back out to Waskell. To Wink. And left wide open, Thomas Waskell. 61-30, Somerset. Mitch Medine also getting ready to check in, as are a couple of Spartans. Irwin out to Jensen. Jensen for 3, catches the front iron, rolls off into the hands of Cale Donnelly. Kane Donnelly. Donnelly dribbling up the floor, stops, free throw line extended right. Up to Waskell, and he'll fire it over to Wink. And then again, open underneath on that left side again, Waskell. Ensminger at the free throw line has the ball stolen away. It's stolen away by 25, Wink, and Wink puts in a layup. 65-30 is the score, 11:20 to go, second half. Ensminger out to Irwin, to Johnson. Johnson for 3, hits it from the sideline. And a timeout called by Colfax. 11:10 to go, second half. Somerset 65, Colfax 33. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax has just what you need when you have that craving for a home-cooked meal the way Mom used to make it. Mom's is open from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. daily and until 9 on Fridays with a complete breakfast menu. Lunch includes sandwiches, salads, wraps, and burgers, along with Mom's comfort food favorites, and don't forget dinner on Fridays with Mom's famous fish fry. The coffee always hot, the breakfast always delicious, and lunch puts a smile on your face. 225 Bremer Avenue, Colfax. Call 715-962-4617. That's Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax.
Are your pooch's proportions putting on pounds? Or is your kitty's constitution constantly complaining? Well, stop by and see the friendly folks at the Colfax Animal Hospital. Dr. Bruce Buckley and his staff will be happy to help you get your family friend back on the road to healthy living. That's the Colfax Animal Hospital. Call them at 715-962-3380.
Welcome back to Somerset. The Spartans lead the Colfax boys 65-33. There's 11:10 left in the second half. Spartans bring it out of the backcourt. It's Kryvik. Give and go to Lecchia. Lecchia free throw line right, and he's going to be called for an offensive foul. So the Vikings will get it back. Blake Johnson, and that's the first foul of the second half for the Spartans. Across the timeline, Medine. Medine out to Ensminger. Ensminger nearly loses the ball, continues the dribble. Gets it over to Eli Ralph. Ensminger will go back in the corner with it. Ensminger driving in, up in the lane. Fall-away jumper from 10. Good.
Ensminger for 2.
Colfax 35, Somerset 65. Wink out to Lesia. Back to Wink. Allen around down in the far corner. It goes to Krybeck. Cross court back to Wink, down underneath the Walters. Walters to an open Caden Krybeck and a great shot block.
Aiden Grover checking in for your Spartans. And Aiden Fisher checking in for your Vikings.
Aiden Fisher and for Colfax. For Blake Johnson.
Inbounds throw, it goes in to Gabe Allen. And out of bounds, back to the Spartans. Caden Krybeck's going to throw it in. Krybeck goes out to Allen. Allen open out on top. He'll fire it out to Krybeck. Back to Allen. He'll try to dump it down to Lesia. Ball goes out of bounds off the Spartans, and Colfax has it back. Fisher and Medine to do the honors out of the backcourt for Colfax. Medine up to the top of the key over to Ensminger. Free throw line extended right. Down underneath, trying to get it into Ralph. Ball gets loose. Charlo goes up, blocked, knocked down, picked up by the Spartans. Krybeck up the floor, fires it down inside to Lesia, and a nice block by Charlo. Ball goes out of bounds off him, so it is going to still be Spartan ball. Jamison Wink's going to throw it in. Wink to Krybeck, back out to Allen. Back down in the far corner, it goes to Wink. Top of the key, Krybeck drains the three-ball.
Krybeck has 10 points.
Medine flips it to Ensminger on the weave. Charlo comes by, Ensminger's going to keep it. Back out on top to Medine. Medine out to Fisher. Out to Medine. Medine to Fisher. Down underneath, Charlo's trying to go up with a shot, and he is fouled. Join NLWN TV and the Northern Light Webcasting Network tomorrow night as the Viking girls will host Dunn St. Croix Conference Leadle and arch rival, the Elkbound Mounders. Charlo's first free throw, around and down. Live coverage will begin with Viking pregame beginning at 6:50 p.m. That'll be followed by all the live play-by-play action that's Colfax Viking girls basketball tomorrow night on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. Charlo's second shot missed. Rebounded by Krybeck. Krybeck to Grover. Back up to Allen. Allen has the ball stolen away by Eli Ralph. Ralph going to the other end. Ralph has it stolen back by Allen, and it's knocked back over to Krybeck. Krybeck down the floor to Lesia. And back out to Krybeck. Krybeck for three, airballs it, and it's rebounded by Charlo. Charlo baseball pass to a wide open Elijah Ensminger for the layup. 68-38, Somerset leading Colfax. Coming up on 8:25 to go first half. Second half, sorry. Foul is going to be charged to Gabe Allen of Somerset. That is the third Somerset foul, and that is Allen's fourth. So to throw it in for Colfax will be Mitch Medine into Aiden Fisher. Medine out to Ensminger. Ensminger to Ralph. To Fisher, out to Ensminger. Ensminger, top of the key. Shot missed. trying to get it as Wasco knocking it out of his hands, Eli Ralph, and the foul's going to be called on Elijah Ensminger. That's his third. Or check that. That was a foul on Somerset. Colfax getting it back. Inside it goes into Charlo. Charlo turnaround jumper from 8. Catches the iron, no good. Rebounded big off the boards by Wasco. Wasco up the floor for the Spartans. Passes it to Grover, back to Wasco. Wasco and Grover working it on that far side. Up out to Blake Freeze. Freeze up to Gebheim. Then to Wasco for 3, missed. Rebounded by Krybek. Krybek trying to get rid of it. Gets a pass out to Blake Freeze, and he can't get it back to Gebheim on the baseline, and Colfax will get the ball back.
Blake Johnson in for Colfax.
Mason Yarrington is going to check into the game to replace Elijah Ensminger. And Jack Charlo's also going to take a break, I think. Blake Johnson went back in too. Jordan Walters in for Somerset for Aiden Grover. Across the timeline, Medine for Colfax. Medine trying to get rid of it to Fisher, gets over to Yarrington. Yarrington to Blake Johnson. Johnson to Medine. Medine driving the right side of the lane, stops, gives it back to Ralph, and Ralph is fouled on the way in by Jordan Walters.
That's his fourth.
So some Spartans getting in foul trouble. In the corner it goes to Fisher. Fisher dumps it back out to Blake Johnson. Johnson for 3. Somerset by 17 over Colfax, 68-41, under 7 minutes to go in the game. Hoffman, or check that, that was Gebheim up to Walters. That shot missed, and it's rebounded by Aiden Fisher. Fisher trying to get it up to Yarrington. Ball tipped out of bounds by the Spartans. So Colfax will continue to move it up the floor. Substitutions by both teams. Yarrington to throw it in. He's being guarded by Jamison Wink. Bounces it into Mitch Medine. Medine drives toward the middle, give and go to Johnson. Johnson to Yarrington. Yarrington top of the key. Three-pointer rolls off, but Aiden Fisher there with a rebound. Reloads to Eli Ralph in the far corner, and he happened to be out of bounds when he got that.
Ball comes down the court to Freeze. Inside to Walters. And we got a hold on Colfax. Fouls on Blake Johnson. It's his second foul. So Somerset will throw in under the hoop. Ball comes in to Tomlin. It goes up and in. Tom Andel gets his first 2 points of the night. Here comes Colfax. Over to Medine for 3. It's off. Picked up by Colfax. To Yarrington for 3, and he hits it. Mason Yarrington with a 3. That's his first 3 points of the night. 70-44, 5:45 left. Somerset with the ball. To Grover. Left side to Tom Andel. Blocked by Johnson. And it's off. Johnson goes out of bounds. Blake Freeze to throw it in for the Spartans. Into Walters. Walters' little turnaround, and it's good. Walters has 8. Nope, Walters has 5. We got a foul on Somerset. Foul's going to be on number 5, Blake Freeze. His first foul. Gabe Allen comes in for Walters. Ball's inbounded to Johnson. Across the center court. Dribbles into the free throw. Kick out to Fisher for 3, and he hits it. 72-47. Top of the key to Freeze. Left side to Allen. Allen inside to Freeze. And it's stolen away by Colfax. Quickly down the court. And it goes out of bounds. So it'll go back to Somerset. 72-47. 4:47 left in the game. Ball comes into Freeze. Brings it up slowly. Guarded by Yarrington. Over to Allen. Allen to Freeze. Freeze left side to Wink. To 12 is Aiden Grover, and he throws it away. It'll be Colfax ball. We got a timeout. 30-second timeout. We'll be right back. You're watching Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2.
If you have a high-deductible health plan, opening a health savings account at Dairy State Bank will allow you to save tax-free dollars to pay for a long list of health-related services allowed by the IRS. Dairy State Bank HSAs are serviced locally and work like a regular checking account. You can use a debit card or check to pay for expenses and access your account through online or mobile banking. Visit DairyStateBank.com to learn more about HSAs and online or mobile banking. Dairy State Bank, banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
Welcome back to Spartan High School. We're in Somerset. 72-47. 4:29 left in the second half. Colfax will get the ball. Thrown in by Blake Johnson over to Yarrington. Yarrington drills up the court. Guarded by Tom Andel. Over left side to Fisher. Inside to Ralph, and it's out. No good. Quickly comes Somerset. Top of the key to Allen. Left side to Tom Andel. Back to the top of the key to Wink. Over to Blake Freeze. Top of the key is Freeze. Throws it away. It's looking for Aiden Gruber, and Aiden was cutting to the hoop. So it'll be Colfax ball. Blake Johnson to throw it in. Gets it into Fisher. Back to Johnson. Brings it across the court. Hands it off to Fisher, top of the key. Little fake by Fisher up, no good. Picked up by Walters. Here come the Spartans. Right side to Allen. Top of the key to Walters. Right side to Freeze. Inside to Allen. Shot goes up by Wink, no good. Back to Allen, and he gets fouled. Foul's going to be on 23, Blake Johnson. Allen did a line for 2. First one's up and no good. Nolan Teskey comes in for Blake Freeze for Somerset. Second shot. It's up and no good. Ball goes out of bounds, and then it's Colfax ball. Into Fisher. He brings it across the court, half court. Hands it off to Medine. Medine looks at a 3 and passes it up. Over to Ralph, top right side to Fisher for 3, and he hits it. Aiden Fisher with 6 points. 72-50, Somerset, 3 minutes left. Left side to Wink. Gives it back to Teskey. Teskey to the right side. Into Walters. Cutting is Allen, but it's a jump ball. Possession will stay with the Spartans. 72-50, 2:48 left in the second half. Walters takes the seat. Grover to throw it in, gets it into Tomando, and we have a foul. Oh, we have an offensive foul on it, Tomando. Johnson throws it into Medina on the right-hand side. Brings across center circle. Left side to Yarrington for three. It's a little short. Tracked down by Colfax. And it's knocked out of bounds by Medina, and it'll be Somerset ball. 72-50. 2:33 left. Ball comes into Wank. Left side to Allen. Allen takes a look. Gets to the paint. Little dump off. And he gets the ball back. Inside to Allen, and it's good. Gabe Allen with 6 points tonight. Here comes Johnson for Colfax. Takes it to the left-hand side, a little jumper, no good. Picked up by Allen. Gets it to Tomano, left-hand side to Blake Tomano. He's got it top of the key, left side to Allen. Deep corner to Grover. He's guarded by Eli Ralph. Kicks it out to Wink. Inside to Allen down the paint. It's blocked. Picked up by Somerset, but he traveled with it. So Colfax will get the ball. 74-50, 1:32 left in the second half. We got some Yarrington with the ball. Brings it across. Over to Medina on the right-hand side. Goes down the paint. Kicks it out to Fisher for three. No good. Picked up by Somerset. Blake Freeze with the ball. Taking it slow. 1:10 left in the second half. Freeze right side to 12. Left side now to Tomando. Tomando, fastball movement by Somerset, gonna run a little clock. Left side to White. Over to Tomando, back to Grover. Down low, they get it inside to Josh White, and he's up for two. 76-50. Somerset, 45.3 left in the second half. Ball brought in by Aiden Fisher. Fisher brings it down, goes up, and it's good. Aiden Fisher with 8 points. 33 seconds left in the second half. Left side to Tomando. Picked up by Freeze. Freeze gets it blocked and picked up by Yarrington, but he knocks it out of bounds, so they'll stay with Somerset. 19.2 left in the second half. Blake Tomando goes up and gets fouled. Falls on number 15, Mason Yarrington, his first. So Blake Tomando at the line for two. First one's up and good. Second shot is up, no good. Picked up by Colfax. Eli Ralph kicks it out to Yarrington. Yarrington comes across half court. Picked up by Ralph. Skip pass over to Fisher. Fisher looks to drive, nothing. To Medina. Medina up shot, up bank shot, no good. And there's the horn. Your score tonight from from Somerset, 77-52 Somerset. Stay tuned for Viking postgame. You're watching Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2.
If you have a high-deductible health plan, opening a health savings account at Dairy State Bank will allow you to save tax-free dollars to pay for a long list of health-related services allowed by the IRS. Dairy State Bank HSAs are serviced locally and work like a regular checking account. You can use a debit card or check to pay for expenses and access your account through online or mobile banking. Visit DairyStateBank.com to learn more about HSAs and online or mobile banking. Dairy State Bank, banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
If you've been admiring the freshly groomed look of a baseball field, or the stunning appearance of a golf course, remember you too can have along with the same beauty by simply calling Midwest Environmental Consultants. Their professional lawn care experts can bring your lawn to its full beauty and appearance. Call Midwest Environmental Consultants at 608-468-2067. Let Midwest Environmental Consultants help make your lawn the showplace of the neighborhood.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. Alright, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight, both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand, trying to text somebody back, because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us for Colfax Boys Basketball. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2. Stay tuned. Coming up next is Viking Postgame, where we'll take a look back at today's Colfax Viking Boys game.
The central and midwestern U.S. averages more than 850 tornadoes each year, and lately, the number of floods has been rising in the region too. So chances are, there will be more twisters and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are, you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are, they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Time now for Viking postgame, a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking boys game. And now, Viking postgame.
Welcome back to Somerset, where the Colfax Vikings have been defeated by the Somerset Spartans by a score of 77-52. And Mark Knoll, the head coach of the Vikings, joins us tonight. And Marks, I've seen all but one of your games, and you've played some tough opponents this year.
Yeah, I mean, Somerset's no joke. I told the kids that. They knew that. Maybe I scared them too much. I'm not sure, you know. But I try to get them mentally prepared and physically prepared. And I felt like, you know, unfortunately, like Somerset came out, like it was like two boxers, right? They had us on the ropes, and we couldn't get off the ropes. It's as simple as that. They just kept punching us in the mouth, and we couldn't get off the ropes. And then luckily we had halftime, so we could catch our breath and get regrouped. And I thought in the second half, obviously, you know, things are different, but we won the second half by 5 or 7 points. We actually acted like we could play basketball again, and I was proud of the kids and their effort in the second half. But the first half, I give credit to Somerset. They're a big, strong team, and they're a very good team.
So what adjustments did you, what was different in the second half?
I think we just told them to, number one is just to relax and play our basketball. You know, like we were turning the ball over. We couldn't dribble, we couldn't pass, we couldn't shoot, we couldn't do anything in the first half. You know, and that's a credit to them. But, you know, part of it's on us. You know, we were better than how we were playing. And in the second half, we just talked to them about, you know, at halftime that we need to play better. We just need to execute and play our game. You know, and it starts on the defensive end, getting stops. You know, we have to get stops. So in the first 5 minutes, we got a ton of stops right away. That made them call like 2 timeouts because they could see that we were refocused and playing hard. Now we just need to do that for the entire game, not just for one half.
Okay. So this is going to be another busy week for you with Spring Valley coming in on Thursday night.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously Spring Valley is a very good team, and it should be a great game. You know, and I tried to rest Elijah and Jack a lot in the second half, so because we have 3 games this week, so we didn't need to run them in the ground because we knew we were going to lose this game already. So we'll try to give some of our guys a rest in the second half.
Okay. Well, Mark, thanks for coming up, and we'll see you on Thursday night.
Thanks you guys for spending some time with us in Somerset tonight. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Mark Knoll, head coach of the Colfax Vikings, as his team falls short to Somerset tonight, 77-52. Colfax's record is now 9-8, and Somerset is 12-9 on the year. And that's one of the best 12-9 basketball teams I've seen. 77-52 the score. Dan, how'd we get there?
Yeah, here's the score for Somerset tonight. Their leader was Caden Donnelly with 17, followed by Gabe Heim with 14. Krybeck had 10. And then we had Leachia with 4. White with 2. Tom Ando with 3. Wink with 4. Allen with 6. And Walters with 5. For the Colfax Vikings, they're led by 2 tonight. Ensminger and Charlo, they both had 12 points, followed by Blake Johnson with 11. We had Fisher with 8. We had Johnson with 5. And Kyle Irwin with 2. 77-52.
I was on the fence about asking this question, but this was something we talked about at halftime. I noticed in the starting lineups that they introduced the hometowns for for the Somerset players, and I just wonder how many. It says a lot for, the Wisconsin educational system, but there were a couple of guys whose hometowns were St. Paul and one from, Stillwater and that sort of thing. So I wonder, how much open enrollment comes into play for these schools along the St. Croix River.
Yeah, I think they had 4 schools that combined. So, yeah, they had good talent tonight, and they pushed the ball up and down the court pretty fast, and it kind of made Colfax a little frazzled.
Yeah.
When you get running that hard back and forth, yeah, like Coach says, you just got to settle in and do it, and they did better in the second half.
Yeah, play your game, and that's what the Vikings started to do more of in the second half. So Thursday night, the Colfax boys will be hosting Spring Valley. We'll have that game right here on NLWN2 and the Northern Light Webcasting Network. And then tomorrow night, the girls host Elk Mound. And that at Colfax tomorrow night, both those start at about 6:50 with Viking pregame and followed by play-by-play action. Tonight's Colfax High School basketball game is brought to you by the Colfax Animal Hospital. Let Dr. Buckley and his friendly staff take care of your pet. Dairy State Bank, where they're banking on relationships. Midwest Environmental Consultants, soil testers for the Chippewa Valley. Anderson Bridges, who've been manufacturing prefabricated steel truss bridges since 1989. Slayton's Technology, IT provider for the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax, comfort food the way Mom used to make it. And Fit Fam Nutrition of Colfax with drinks that taste as good as their names sound, plus they're healthy. So be sure to thank these fine sponsors for bringing you Colfax Viking boys basketball by doing some business with them and paying them a visit soon. So from Somerset, for Dan Petshaw and Chris Olson, videographer, I'm Jay Fall. Thanks a lot for joining us. Good night.
You've been listening to Viking Postgame, a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking boys game. You can catch Colfax Vikings games by tuning in to any of the Northern Light Webcasting Network outlets. This has been a production of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.